Hello, welcome to this video. In this video we will see the basics of isometric projection. So if you consider a three-dimensional object, to draw that you need three axes, x, y and z axis. But if you want to plot a three-dimensional object in a plane, you don't have that third z axis. In a plane you have x and y axis only. But in a plane you have the total angle will be 360 degrees, and if you divide that into 3 like this, one angle will be 120 degrees. So if you consider this one as x-axis and this one as y-axis and this one as z-axis, so those angles will be those axes will be at an angle of 120 degrees to each other, whereas this axis in space will be at 90 degrees to each other. Here it is 120 degrees. Now if you extend this z-axis like this and y-axis like this, and if you draw a reference line like this, this angle will be 30 degrees and this will be 30 degrees. Now this is the basics of isometric projection. Now you have x-axis like this, z-axis like this and y-axis like this, and this angle will be 30 degrees. Now if you want to draw a cube using this method, a cube of dimension 50 mm, first draw a reference line like this and draw a line of 50 mm vertical like this. Then from there at 30 degrees towards right and 30 degrees towards left, you draw two lines having length of 50 mm. Now from here and here you draw another 50 mm line like this. Now join those lines like this to this corner. So and again you draw a line parallel to this line through this point like this 50 mm, and parallel to this line you draw another line like this. You will get a cube like this, and the cube is having a dimension of 50 mm. This is how you draw a cube using isometric projection. Now in the same way you let us construct another cube of say 60 mm dimension like this. A cube of 60 mm dimension you want to construct. Now you consider this top face. So in that top face, this is the top parallelogram. In that parallelogram you have this corner and this corner. These two are close to each other, whereas these two are far distance. Okay, now consider these two close corners, not these far corners, close corners. Now from one corner to the opposite line midpoint, this is opposite line midpoint, draw one line. Similarly from the same corner, opposite line midpoint, you draw another line. Now from other close corner like this, you draw a line to opposite line midpoint, and from here to opposite line midpoint, these two lines will meet here and these two lines will meet here. Now this point as center, and this distance as radius. This as center and this as radius, you draw an arc like this. This as center and this as radius, you draw an arc like this. Similarly, this point as center and this as radius, you draw another arc like this. Now let us draw one more arc like this. This point as center and this distance as radius, this point center and this distance as radius, you draw an arc like this. Similarly, this point as center and this distance as radius, you draw another arc. You will get an ellipse like this. Now in this method you can construct a by using the same method you can draw ellipse on this face. Here you have these two corners are close to each other, so from here you draw lines to opposite line midpoint, and from here to opposite line midpoint like this. Meeting point as center and this as radius, you draw an arc like this. Meeting point as center and this as radius, you draw another arc like this. Now this point as center, this is the close corner, so this point as center, this as radius, you draw another arc like this. This point as center and this as radius, you draw another arc like this. Now you can get another ellipse on this face. Now similarly you can draw another ellipse on this face also. Here you have these two are close corners. You should not consider these far corners. Okay, you have to consider only these two close corners. Now here draw two lines like this. From here draw two lines, so meeting here, and you can draw curves. Here also curves, and you can complete that ellipse on this face also. So you have three parallelograms and three ellipse like this. Now this top face, this face ellipse, you can draw for using the top view of the top side of a cylinder when it is resting on the ground on its base. So these two you can use when it is lying on the ground on its surface. Now if you want to draw a say square prism. Okay, square prism is having 50 mm edge. and 70 mm height. So first you draw a reference line, mark a point here, and mark 70 mm towards right, and 50 mm towards right at 30 degrees, and 50 mm towards left at 30 degrees, and from here on the along the x-axis you mark 70 mm. So now draw parallel lines like this, parallel to this line and parallel to this line. You can get this point, you construct that parallelogram. Now now from here you mark 70 mm upwards, here also 70 mm upwards. Now from here a line parallel like this, parallel to this one, and another line parallel to this line like this, you will get this point. Now in the case of a square prism, this inner point, this one, all the three lines to that point will be invisible because this is the other side, okay, and this is the bottom, a base corner of base corner which is coming on the other side, a corner opposite to this corner. So this corner, there three lines are meeting, those three lines will be invisible. So you want to mark this line, and here to here dotted line, because there is a continuous line from here to here. So remaining portion of that line will be dotted line. So if you can name it, so A, B, C, D and E, F, G, H. So the invisible lines will be E, F and F, G, and also B, F. So these are the lines which are invisible. So this is how you draw a square prism using isometric projection. Now if the object is lying on the ground on a longer face, okay, longer face, a larger face, you can take length along the y-axis, and along x-axis and z-axis you take the base, that is 50 by 50, 50 here and 50 here. Draw that parallelogram, then take 70 mm towards y-axis like this. So you can draw another parallelogram here. So in that case H will be invisible, and EH, HG and HD will be invisible. Now let us construct a cylinder by using this method. Cylinder is having a base diameter of 50 mm. So first you draw a reference line, mark a point here, and take 50 mm towards this side and 50 mm towards this side, and construct that parallel lines and get this base parallelogram. Now from all four corners you mark the height of the object, which is 70 mm upwards. From here also 70 mm, here also 70 mm, here also 70 mm. You will get 4 points here. Now connect that, you will get another parallelogram here. Okay, now this is actually this is a square prism. Now let us draw using the square prism, let us draw a cylinder. Now erase this line, okay, consider this face and erase this line. Now you want to draw ellipse on this surface, on this face. So draw two lines like this from the corner, from close corners. These two are close corners, from here to opposite line midpoint, here to opposite line midpoint, and from this corner to opposite line midpoint, and from here to opposite line midpoint. Draw two lines meeting here. This point as center and this as radius, draw an arc like this. Similarly this point as center, this as radius, draw another arc like this. So similarly complete that. This point is center and this as radius, this point is center, this as radius, draw an arc like this. Similarly this point is center, this as radius, you draw another arc like this. You can get a parallelogram, you can get a ellipse on this top surface. Similarly consider this base, so erase that line, follow the same procedure and draw those lines like this, and construct a ellipse on this face also. Now once you draw that line, you want to draw line tangent to this curve. Okay, from this is the ellipse, these two are ellipse. So here from this ellipse to this ellipse, you want to draw a line tangent to here to here. Okay, now similarly this side also you draw a tangent line like this. And now in this case the portion which is coming inside, so this is the base, and base, this portion will be invisible because whatever coming inside of this tangent and this base curve will be this portion will be dotted line. So you want to make those lines as dotted lines. Now you want to draw a chain line to represent the axis. To get the axis, first you draw a line from here to here and mark the midpoint. Similarly from here to here, mark the midpoint, and that line, connect that, you will get the axis of the object. Now actually in this case the object is the cylinder, so only cylinder the solid line should be dark. Okay, all other lines lines which are used for the construction of this this square prism, and this cross lines also, all those lines would be thin line. Only you want to use dark lines for this top face, this base, and for in that this should be dotted line, and tangent also should be dark line. Hope you understood how to draw this diagram. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.